Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be exploring the future of education. We've got this fascinating episode of EdTalks by Edventia, and they're not just talking about, small changes here and there. They're really kind of envisioning a complete overhaul of how we learn. So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's really striking is how Edventia sees technology like totally changing, where learning happens. They talk about a future where classrooms aren't limited to like brick and mortar schools.
Yeah, that's right. The host, Vishal Kumar, starts by saying that technology is already making learning accessible from almost anywhere, really. And it makes you wonder, what does a classroom even mean in this context?
Yeah, it's a great question. This is a shift away from the traditional idea of everyone learning the same thing at the same time in the same place. Think about it with online courses, virtual labs, and like on-demand tutoring. Learning can be so much more tailored to each individual's needs and schedules.
Right. So Edventia highlighted three key trends that are driving this shift. First up is artificial intelligence, or AI, which is something we hear about everywhere these days.
Yeah, AI is no longer like a futuristic concept. It's already here, and it's changing how we learn. I mean, we're seeing it with tools like ChatGPT helping students with their homework, but it goes way beyond that. Imagine a platform that analyzes your learning patterns, identifies your knowledge gaps, and then like recommends specific resources just for you to help you improve. It's almost like having a personal tutor available 24/7.
Wow. It's like AI can create a learning path that is completely customized for each student. That's pretty amazing. But what about the second trend that they highlighted? Gamification. Isn't that just about making learning more fun?
Fun is definitely a part of it. But gamification in education is about so much more than just entertainment. By incorporating like game-like elements, learning platforms can tap into our natural desire for challenges and rewards. For example, think about earning points for mastering a concept or unlocking new levels as you progress. These mechanics not only make learning more engaging, but they also reinforce knowledge and encourage students to keep going.
I see. So it's not just about slapping a game on top of a lesson. It's about designing the learning experience itself to be more engaging and motivating. Right. Like earning badges for completing a challenging project, or collaborating with classmates in a virtual world to solve a problem.
Exactly. These game mechanics are incredibly effective at developing crucial skills, things like problem solving, strategic thinking, and teamwork. And these are exactly the skills that are highly valued in today's world.
Okay. So let's move on to Edventia's third trend, immersive technologies. Now, this one sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It does. But it's closer to reality than you might think. Virtual reality, or VR. That's where technology creates immersive, interactive experiences that simulate real or imagined worlds. It's already being used in classrooms. Imagine students taking a VR field trip to ancient Egypt, walking through the pyramids, and exploring tombs, all without leaving their classroom.
Oh, wow. That would make history come alive in a whole new way. No more dusty textbooks and boring lectures.
Exactly. And it's not just about history. Imagine conducting science experiments in a virtual lab without the risk of explosions or the need for expensive equipment. These technologies are making learning interactive and accessible in a way that was never possible before.
Yeah, it's incredible to think about the possibilities, especially for students in rural communities who might not have access to, museums or specialized labs. But with any big change, there are challenges, right? What did the EdTalks episode say about that?
You're absolutely right. Vishal Kumar raised a critical point: accessibility. How do we ensure that everyone, regardless of their location or socioeconomic background, benefits from these technological advancements?
That's a key question. I mean, technology can be expensive, and internet access isn't a given in many parts of the world. How can we make sure that this exciting future of education doesn't leave anyone behind?
Well, it's going to require a lot of collaboration. We need to think about how governments, private organizations, and educational institutions can work together to address issues like infrastructure, funding, and training.
So the challenge isn't just about developing these amazing technologies, but also making sure that they reach the students who need them most.
That's exactly right. It's not just about the what of these new technologies, but also the who and the how. That's where the real conversation begins. It's fascinating to think about how all of these advancements that we've been talking about could like reshape traditional ideas about education. I mean, if we look back, education was largely focused on memorizing facts and figures.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, simply knowing facts isn't as valuable in a world where information is readily available at our fingertips.
Yeah, that's true. So what becomes more important then? What skills will students really need to thrive in this rapidly changing world?
Well, that's something that Edventia addresses directly. They highlight the growing importance of critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, and collaboration. Those uniquely human skills that are difficult to automate.
Right, it's more about learning how to think, not just what to think. It's about being adaptable and able to solve problems that we can't even imagine yet.
Exactly. Think about it this way. A student might not need to memorize all the dates of historical events, but they will need to analyze sources, evaluate different perspectives, and draw their own conclusions about the past.
So it's not about abandoning subjects like history, but rather approaching them in a way that builds those critical thinking skills.
Exactly. And this applies to all subjects, not just history. Imagine the science class, where students design their own experiments in a virtual lab to test their hypotheses, or a literature class where they collaborate to create their own interactive stories using digital tools. It's about moving beyond passive learning and encouraging active participation.
Yeah, this shift towards active learning and critical thinking is really exciting. And it seems like it's not limited to just K-12 education.
Right, you are. The EdTalks episode pointed out how this is impacting higher education and even workplace training. It's really about embracing lifelong learning, constantly updating your skills, and exploring new areas throughout your life.
Yeah, technology can play a huge role in that. Think about all the online courses, virtual workshops, and personalized learning platforms that are now available. It's easier than ever to keep learning and growing, no matter what your age or interests. But with all this talk about AI tutors and personalized learning platforms, I have to ask, what about teachers? What role will they play in this future of education?
That's a really good question, and one that a lot of people are asking. It's easy to think that technology might eventually replace teachers altogether. However, the EdTalks episode emphasized that human educators will always be essential.
So what can teachers offer that AI can't replicate? What makes them so irreplaceable?
Well, for one, teachers provide more than just information. They act as mentors, guides, and facilitators, fostering those uniquely human connections that are so crucial to learning. Think about a teacher who can sense when a student is struggling and offer personalized support and encouragement. That's just not something an algorithm can do.
Right, they can also create a supportive and engaging learning environment, helping students develop social and emotional skills alongside their academic knowledge.
Exactly. And let's not forget the power of inspiration. A great teacher can ignite a passion for learning in their students, encouraging them to be curious, to ask questions, and to think critically about the world around them.
So it sounds like rather than replacing teachers, technology can empower them to be even more effective. AI can handle tasks like grading and providing basic feedback, freeing up teachers to focus on those aspects of teaching that require human interaction and empathy.
That's a great point. Think about it. Instead of spending hours grading papers, a teacher could use that time to work one-on-one with students, design engaging learning activities,
Wow.
or connect with parents.
So Edventia has painted this picture of a future where education is so different from what we see today. What else do they envision? What's their big picture vision?
Well, their vision is a world where learning is seamlessly integrated into our lives, happening not just in schools, but everywhere. A world where anyone, regardless of their background or location, can access personalized learning experiences tailored to their interests and goals.
It's a really powerful vision, where learning is no longer seen as something you do just in school, but rather a lifelong journey of exploration and growth. It sounds incredible, but achieving it will require a lot of effort and collaboration.
Oh, absolutely. It will require us to rethink not only how we teach, but also how we think about education as a society. We'll need to address issues like equitable access to technology, funding for educational innovation, and training for educators.
So it's not just about technology, but also about changing attitudes and policies. It's about everyone working together to create a world where lifelong learning is truly valued and accessible to all.
It's about creating a future where education empowers individuals to reach their full potential and contribute to a better world.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the future of education, one thing that really stuck with me from that EdTalks episode was this whole idea of personalization. It just seems to be at the heart of, everything that we've been talking about.
Yeah, it really is a powerful concept. For so long, education has been this like one-size-fits-all system. But now technology is finally giving us the tools to create learning experiences that are as unique as like each individual learner.
It's exciting to think about. To imagine a future where every student's learning journey is tailored to their specific needs, interests, and goals. I mean, we touched on these AI-powered platforms, that could analyze learning patterns and recommend custom learning materials. But what other possibilities does personalization open up?
Well, let's think about how it could impact different parts of education. Like imagine a student who is amazing at math but struggles with reading. A personalized learning platform could provide that student with extra support in reading, while also offering them more advanced challenges in math, allowing them to progress at their own pace in both areas.
So it would be like having a personal tutor who can adjust the curriculum on the fly to match each student's strengths and weaknesses. But personalization isn't just about academics, is it?
No, not at all. Personalization can also extend to things like social-emotional learning and even career exploration. Imagine a platform that helps students identify their interests and then connects them with mentors in those fields, or recommends extracurricular activities that might be a good fit.
It would be like having this personalized roadmap for life, guiding students not only through their academic journey, but also helping them discover their passions and plan for their future. It sounds incredible, but how do we actually get there? How do we shift from a system that's designed for the masses to one that truly prioritizes the individual?
Well, it is a big challenge, and it requires some pretty big changes at all levels of the education system. We really need to move away from this idea of education as a standardized process and embrace the concept of these individualized learning journeys.
So it's not just about implementing new technologies, but also about shifting our mindset and rethinking the very foundations of education. What kind of practical steps can we take to actually make this happen?
Well, one crucial step is empowering teachers. We need to give them the training and resources to create these personalized learning experiences for their students. That might involve incorporating new technologies into their classrooms. But it also means fostering a culture that values individual differences and encourages students to take ownership of their learning.
So it's about equipping teachers to become more like facilitators and mentors, guiding students on their unique learning paths rather than simply delivering the same content to everyone.
Exactly. And it also means creating a supportive environment outside the classroom. Parents, communities, and policymakers all have a role to play in fostering a love of learning and creating opportunities for personalized education.
So it sounds like realizing this vision of personalized education is going to require like a collective effort, a shift in thinking, not just within schools, but throughout society as a whole.
You got it. It's a big task, for sure. But the potential benefits are enormous. Imagine a world where every student feels empowered to learn, where their unique talents are nurtured, and where they graduate not just with a diploma, but with a lifelong love of learning and the skills to thrive in a constantly evolving world.
That's a future worth striving for. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I hope this episode has sparked your curiosity and got you thinking about how these trends might impact your own learning journey or the education of your children.
We encourage you to keep exploring these ideas and to be active participants in shaping the future of education. The possibilities are truly limitless, and the future is ours to create.
That's right. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the future of education. We hope you enjoyed it.